guys, so this is what if Deku was, well, Immortal Part 2. Now, I just got a request or a comment on that video I made a couple months back. I think 2 or 1 month ago. 2 months or 1 month ago, I made Part 1. And originally, I wasn't going to make Part 2. I actually didn't expect a lot of, views to come on that video, but it did, and I'm making a Part 2, and I hope I can make more parts if you guys, hype up this video and get a lot more views on it, part 2. So guys, basically last time I got only one comment for the ship idea. And last time I rewatched my old video and I stuttered way too much on that video. And I've gotten better, but yeah. So guys, let's get started. Now, last time I did skip a lot of explaining and messed around the story a lot. So, I think, yeah, so to sum it up, Deku is a millionaire, billionaire, like, he straight up just loaded with cash. Deku's extremely smart, and also Deku is thinking about doing a quirk marriage with, Momo, yeah, Rozu, and actually, the comment on that video was a Momo or Toga ship, and I choose Momo. Now, basically, Deku will be shipped with Momo, and the first date Deku will have with Momo is going to be at the end of this video. But yeah, so guys, let's get started. This is what if Deku was Immortal Part 2. Now, last time I explained Deku had like 3 mansions in Japan. Deku has about 4 other ones in each country. Literally 4 mansions in each separate country. So Deku's pretty loaded, and he has mansions and houses to go to if he goes to each, pretty much mansion. Now, each mansion is actually kept by staff, and everything that can be stolen from Deku's house actually can actually get replaced, because Deku has actually fakes. Deku puts fakes on display at his other houses, and mainly he doesn't even keep but mainly the house he keeps most of his valuables at is one of his houses in Japan that he doesn't let anybody come in or out of except him and maybe his loved one. Now, I explained last time in the video at one point that Deku had multiple other lovers, and he isn't really shocked by anything, you know, pretty much seductive anybody does to him anymore. He is aroused by it, but he isn't shocked by it, because Deku has having a lot of lovers, and mainly Deku has never really tried to have a child. And Deku doesn't even know that his child would even get his power. But now that he knows that quirks are mainly powers, and Deku may have had a quirk his whole life, or got a quirk from that meteorite that hit him, Deku does wonder, can he even have a child, and can that child be immortal like him? So Deku is going to eventually try to do a DNA test and try to figure out if that's possible. But if you guys don't want Deku to be able to have kids, or if you don't want Deku to not have a kid with a quirk, but the kid can't have immortality, which one should it be? So, guys, let's get ready, guys. So basically, I last left off where Deku went to sleep after a night of Deku went to sleep and woke up for the next day of UA, the second day of UA. And the reason why Deku was going to UA, I didn't really explain that last time. I didn't explain a lot of things last time. Deku is going to UA because he just wants to. That's literally basically his whole thing. Deku just lived forever and he just wants to help people because he's seen a lot of horror and pretty much discrimination and hatred towards multiple races, people, and just everything. Deku's been through multiple pains, and basically since Deku has green hair, Deku was also accused of being a witch or a warlock at one point in the medieval ages. And they tried to kill Deku, but Deku mainly faked his death and moved to different, countries or capitals back then. Now basically, Deku, at this point would have woken up for the next day of UA, but Deku would have woken up from that nightmare. And this nightmare would be the death of his last lover he's had in the last 500 years. No, scratch that. The last 100 years, Deku has only had one lover, and this lover looks uncannily like Momo Yaoyorozu, and this lover was actually Momo's past life self. Now, basically, um, Deku would have had a type like black-haired girls with, you know what? So basically, Deku had a lot of nightmares about the deaths of his past lovers, how they passed or died in their sleep, because Deku's been with them for so long. Deku doesn't really care about age, because Deku's like hundreds of years old, but he doesn't show it, because he doesn't age, and his body is stuck in time. And the oldest Deku will ever age is probably to look 20, so yeah. So, Deku would basically be kind of like nightmarish. Deku would have night terrors in and there, but mainly time that would only happen about 5 times a month. So Deku would have nightmares about World War II and One, wars on top of wars, and multiple different accusations of Deku being a witch back in the or a warlock back in the old middle days. And Deku was just felt so much pain through the years. Deku woke up from his nightmare, and he got ready for school or UA because, he just had to get that memory out of his mind. So Deku got up and pretty much put his UA outfit on. This UA outfit would be pretty much Deku has the same body as in. I didn't explain this. Deku has the same body as in the 10-month art training with All Might, but just a lot more perfected and way stronger. And Deku doesn't have any scars on his body because he just regenerates from them. And so Deku can't really get a tattoo at all, because if Deku gets a tattoo and he regenerates or resets his body to come back to life, basically it doesn't really work. Now Deku's immortality, I didn't explain it. It works kind of like Ajin immortality, but without the black smoke and the ghosts you can summon. So yeah. So basically, that's basically it. Deku just has to kill himself to regenerate his, like a limb, or like he reset his body to heal. So yeah. And when Deku dies, he comes back with a little bit of a really bad headache, but over the years, Deku's been able to numb it and not really feel it at all. But basically, when Deku dies, he goes into a black loop of some sorts. Like he's getting pulled through a pool, but he can barely just put his toe out of the water. Barely. But when he comes back to life, it's like some sort of warm, gentle hand pulls him out of the water like he's flying out of it. So it's kind of like that sensation when Deku comes back from, dying. So Deku goes to UA, walks into class 1A, and sits down, sitting about 2 seats away from Momo. Momo looks at Deku and pretty much winks at him. Deku winking back, being blunt, pretty much not really caring that much. But Deku also having some sort of feeling towards Momo because Momo looks like a couple past lovers that Deku has had over the years. Now, Deku would be sitting in the chair or around in the, class, just minding his own business, when Denki Kaminari walks up to him and starts talking to him, making small talk from the beginning of the class, pretty much asking about, how did you even start to do this whole entire, billionaire kid thing. Pretty much Deku saying, I just put a lot of money and, faith in those rising businesses like Uber, Walmart, a couple other places, everything. So basically, Denki started talking to Deku again and again and again, becoming friends with Deku actually, but getting stopped when Izawa tells him to shut up after Izawa comes in class being super sleepy. Now Izawa says, I'm not playing any of your games, and pretty much starts the class. Now, we skip when All Might busts into class and explains to the class to do quirk assessments and what they're going to be doing today. Now they get handed their hero costumes, and Deku's hero costume was pretty much requested from a hero agency that was able to make a fabric that was able to regenerate with Deku as he comes back to life. Meaning that the suit can reattach itself if Deku's arm or head was ever cut off. And also with the whole entire head thing, Deku's head just teleports back on top of his body, or if his head was completely disintegrated off, it just pops back on his shoulders without the mask though, because the mask, pretty much the mask or like the suit of Deku's hero costume is fireproof, and it also can regenerate with Deku's body, but also at the same time, it's blade proof because Deku doesn't really like to be stabbed. He doesn't feel a lot of pain over the years because he's numbed his nervous system to be numb to pain like bullets or gunshots, or they do hurt the same, but just a little bit, lower. So basically, Deku gets ready, and basically this is what Deku's hero costume will look like. Basically, kind of like this. This is just a image I looked up on superhero comic books, and this is an image that came up, and I liked it a lot, and it fit Deku's, aesthetic. Now, basically, Deku's aesthetic. Deku's hero costume mainly focuses on mainly just being tactical, per se. Now, it's not really tactical, because Deku doesn't really need anything tactical, but it's mainly just, the red is very bright and vibrant, and the black is mainly to blend in with his surroundings. If Deku pretty much with Deku, if Deku ever wanted to go on, a solo mission, this is what Deku would mainly need to wear, and this is what Deku's hero costume would look like. Deku's hero costume would look very, good. Deku's mask would be kind of burglish, kind of, but with some sunshades with them, something like that. So, Deku's mask, I'll show you it later, like at the end, but yeah. So basically, Deku suit basically be like this. The boots are mainly focused on making Deku's footsteps very silent, to a point of Deku's footsteps being kind of, not even being able to be heard. Kind of like Black Panther's soundless shoes. Now, basically, Deku would be focused on the suit's durability. Now, the suit would be fireproof, like I said earlier, and it would regenerate with Deku's body. And also, the suit would also be made out of a fabric that would also make it, invisible to camera. But that function would be turned off and off, so Deku can be, cameralized and be put into history books if he ever became a pro hero, or like the #1 hero. Now, Deku's logo is basically just this symbol around his chest. So yeah, like a red triangle is basically Deku's logo. So Deku's, symbol, or whatever. So basically, Deku would have been preset and ready to go, and a lot of people would, comment Deku on his hero costume. Most people would say, was it for, like, what tactical reason is it for? Deku not saying, I don't really need any tactical reason for my power, because I don't really have any limitation to it. Basically, Momo overhears this, but doesn't think anything of it. Momo walks over to Deku, and Brimmer is about to talk to him about something, but gets stopped when All Might explains to the class about the combat training. Now, they explain to the class that they have to be teamed up with pairs, and Momo pretty much begging to be teamed up with Deku. Momo just being attracted to Deku the first time she ever saw Deku, so that's literally, why. The only reason why that's the only reason why Momo wants to be married or quirk marriage with Deku so badly, because she really likes him, and she also wants to see what his quirk is like, because pretty much his parents may don't even want them to have a quirk marriage. They just want them to get married because they just want them to, be together. Because the Momo Yaozu family, money mixed with his money would make like the most richest family in the world. Basically, Momo would basically try to talk to Deku, but would have been separated when all their teams would be matched up. Deku would be matched up with Ochaku. Basically, Ochaku trying to say what's the game plan to Deku, but Deku just running off pretty much yelling to Ochaku while he's running off to deal with Ida, while I deal with the blonde-haired boy. He seems the strongest out of both of them. Basically, Deku taking out the strongest one and also remembering the blonde-haired boy with red eyes in the street one day, putting two together and figuring out that that little boy he saw on the street one day was actually, Bakugo. Now Deku is walking around but gets stopped when Bakugo stops him and says, "Hey, what's up, little nerd?" Pretty much trying to beat up, Deku. Pretty much running towards Deku at full speed. Deku dodges with minimum effort, well, pretty much none effort at all. Pretty much grabbing Bakugo's neck and throwing him into the ground, saying, "It's not the best you got, little boy." Pretty much Bakugo throwing an explosion in Deku's face. Bakugo saying, "I'm the same age as you." Deku saying, "I don't think that." Chuckling a little bit. Bakugo throws more explosions at Deku, rigorously, not even knowing where Deku's gonna move because Deku's moving way too fast for Bakugo to even move. Now Deku's reception is OP as freak, but also his moving is OP. Now, Deku's not having like superhuman movements or anything. It's that Deku sees things a lot faster than normal people, so Deku can react a lot faster than normal people, meaning that Deku, at certain angles, as some people's, perspectives, that it does look like Deku's like teleporting or moving around really fast. As Deku starts moving more and more, seeing that Bakugo's being fatigued, Deku grabs Bakugo's hand and says, "You know what, lay it on me. I want to see how strong your quirk is." When Bakugo throwing a huge explosion, also doing that explosion, pulls the gauntlet pin, blowing it all up in Deku's face. Seeing that scorch marks all around Deku's upper half and his face, seeing that his suit is burnt, and seeing that Deku's head is completely burned off. Bakugo being super shocked at this. Bakugo instantly realizing that Deku is immortal, that's what he said, and Deku, pretty much Bakugo not knowing that, maybe Deku can't come back with his head, pretty much All Might doesn't know that, and All Might's yelling at the mic saying, "You killed him, Bakugo," blah blah blah, pretty much cussing Bakugo out. Now, Deku starts moving with his head regrowing, and his suit regrowing with him, and Deku coming back to life like nothing ever happened to him, pretty much looking over at Bakugo saying, "Is that all you got?" Bakugo throwing another explosion move, the same thing he did last time, but Deku dodging it, and Deku's arm being glazed by it, by getting like third-degree burns on it, but Deku regenerates. Deku doesn't really regenerate because he has to die for his body to regenerate, so Deku just runs off, pretty much punching Bakugo in the face, grabbing Bakugo while he's falling down to the ground after Deku punched him, throwing him through a whole entire wall, knocking him out. Deku snaps his neck, coming back to life with his arm regenerated and healed. Deku runs up the stairs as fast as he can, basically getting to, the bomb room, and pretty much Ochaku getting kicked in pillars by Ida. Ida pretty much winning against Ochaku. At this point, Ochaku wasn't floating anything. Ochaku was actually just getting pummeled in a pillar by Ida, and Ida was staying true to his villain role. Now, Deku saw the bomb on the area, running towards it, but Ida, being a lot faster than Deku, pretty much kicking Deku in the stomach. Deku gets sent flying into a building, into a pillar, right through the pillar, and Deku gets back up saying that's a cheap shot. Grabbing one of the, pretty much, middle pipes that are in the pillar, throwing it around, swinging it around like a bow staff, saying, "Try your best." Ida starts running around Deku in circles, about to go through a slight punch, but Deku's too smart for that, and pretty much calculates where Ida's gonna kick him. Deku, pretty much at last second, turning that direction, stabbing Ida at the sole of his foot. Now, not deep enough to turn permanent damage, but enough to basically make Ida not be able to use his quirk for about a week, or not letting Ida able to be, running for about a week. But with the recovery girl's help, this stabbing wouldn't really, do any permanent damage, and would let Ida, attend other events for the rest of the year. But Deku just stabbed it for there. So basically, Ida started falling onto the ground, yelling in pain, looking at his boot, seeing blood coming out of it. Deku's saying, "You better, rinse out that armor, because that armor is bright white, so you better gotta rinse that out." Basically, Deku runs towards the bomb, but stops when the alarm goes off, saying that hero team wins, villain team loses. Deku, remembering that, him taking out Ida and Bakugo being out, mean that they did technically win because it incapacitated the villains. So Deku and Ochaku win. So Deku, after that, everybody's sent back home after the rest of the matches go off, and Deku is walking home, but he gets stopped by Ochaku. Ochaku asks Deku, "Did you think about what I said yesterday?" And Deku stops and says, "Well, yeah, I did. And I think I have opportunity for you." Pretty much giving Momo his number, saying to come over to my house later tonight. Deku getting picked up by his butler, getting drove to his house. And Deku, on the back of Deku's number that he gave to Momo, it was actually what was it? The address to Deku's, pretty much, mansion on the Momoya Rosa residence. Now, Deku goes to that mansion instead of his main mansion he went to yesterday. Pretty much walking in there, closing the gate after he pretty much drives in there with his butler, going into the inside. Deku walks and goes up the stairs and pretty much sits down in his bedroom. He hears a door or the doorbell ring, and he pretty much runs down the stairs, saying that maybe this would be a good, date type of thing. Deku opens the door and sees Momo there. Momo pretty much walks in and says, "So, what you want to talk about?" Pretty much blushing really hard. Deku saying to come in, and pretty much, Deku stops for a second and says, "Well, you already came in, but just follow me." Pretty much taking Momo to his bedroom. Now, this would be one of the bedrooms in Deku's mansion. Basically, just walking in there, this being Deku's kind of chill game room type of room. Basically, Deku saying this is the wrong room, sorry. Pretty much closing the door. Momo saying Deku's pretty fun. Seeing a bunch of games in there and a bunch of equipment. Now we switch to the main bedroom Deku sleeps in, mainly. And basically, Deku walks Ochaku in, Momo into his kind of chill, but, mainly more okay red bedroom. Pretty much sitting on the couch, sitting on the bed, well, straight up laying in the bed, saying to, sit down. Pretty much, Ochaku starts talking to Deku. No, sorry. Sorry, guys. Momo talks to Deku, saying, "So, did you think about the whole entire quirk marriage?" And Deku says, "I don't want it to be a quirk marriage. I know you'll like me, Momo, so I want to start dating you first and see if we can marry, not a quirk marriage, but just marry each other, just normally." So basically, Momo gets kind of happy by this, saying, "Are you sure?" Pretty much Deku saying, "Yes, I'm positive. I've had a lot of love life in the past, and mainly I feel something for you that I never really felt for anybody else in my, in my life." Pretty much Deku being, actually saying the truth, Deku deep down actually feeling something that he never really felt with anybody else the first time he met Momo. Now, actually, the first time he met Momo wasn't in Class 1A. It was actually at a business offer Deku got from the Momoyada Rosary family. That he met Momo in the hallway and bumped into her. Pretty much her dropping her purse, but Deku helping her up, and them having a very, very long look into the eyes moment. Pretty much Momo saying, "So, what do you wanna, why do you call me over here? If you already wanted to, tell me that. You could have just talked to me over the phone." Her blushing, pretty much messing with her hair. Deku grabs Momo by the waist, saying, "I wanted to talk to you in person. I'm more of a, old school guy." Pretty much Momo and Deku start talking for more and more, getting more comfortable, and laying down on the bed at the same time. And I'm going to end it out there, guys. I'm going to leave it to your imagination, guys. To your imagination. Just, just think about what you want to happen, okay? Okay. Just know that there was a lot of noise that night. So, guys, I'm going to leave it off here, and I'm going to continue with part 3, maybe like a couple weeks later. Now, guys, I'm still on vacation, so I probably won't be able to upload a lot of what ifs. But yeah, so guys, I think this will be the last what if I'm going to be making for at least a couple days. So, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope you guys like and subscribe. As always, guys, have a blessed day.